followers of Jesus? What if there was a court system for Christians? What if there was a court system for followers of Jesus? Say it like a couple times. You gotta say it a couple times for it to kind of like get in your system for you to conceptualize it. What if there was a court system for believers? I can't even say that I identify as Christian anymore because of how toxic Christianity has become. I identify as a follower of Jesus. And so I asked myself, what if there was a court system for followers of Jesus? And the more I say it, the more I begin to conceptualize it, the more I think of it becoming a reality. See, one thing that we know is that when there are consequences for wrongdoing, right, then that's a powerful deterrent to keep people from doing wrong. So maybe there's an uptick in spiritual crimes, right? And we'll define spiritual crimes, but let's just say that there's an uptick in spiritual crimes because there is no way of adjudicating or at least hearing people out when it comes to the spiritual wrongs that have been done to them. And because sometimes these spiritual things don't rise to a level of the secular court violations or worldly law, doesn't mean that it passes God's law, right? But there is no way, at least not here on earth, not until Judgment Day, that there is any way of kind of hearing about these cases and fixing them, meaning that there is some type of redemption that happens, vindication that happens, or justice, or all three, right? So what if there was a court system for believers, for followers of Jesus, or people who say that they're Christians or whatever, but people who identify or who at least subscribe to what's truly in the Bible about when there are disputes among you or when there are spiritual crimes, and I'm just saying air quotes because I feel like I made up this term of spiritual crimes. But what if there was a way that these types of things were heard, and a result of that is that there is a decrease, that there is an awareness that happens, that even if someone who is reprobate or degenerate or whatever, the walking dead, that they're still deterred from harming believers because there is a way, there is a system that will address the issue. I'm one of those people who are just crazy enough to believe this is possible. And not only am I crazy enough to believe that it's possible, but I'm crazy enough to make it happen. Okay, because it's not always about identifying that there is a problem, but also conceptualizing a solution. I'm thinking that if there is a way for people to be their whatever case, right? Because you guys know I did a live video last night, as a matter of fact, and I titled it "The Case of the Narcissistic Pastor," because I'm beyond the point in my healing journey where I just want to air my grievances. That's not my ministry. That is not where I'm coming from. In fact, I never have. I've never been the type of person to just air my grievances. I'm a solution-focused person. So even if I'm airing out my grievances, I'm one of those that thinks about or conceptualizes a way of fixing the problem that I'm complaining about. Okay? Now that's a ministry. But so let me ask you this, right? Because there's going to be people that say, Christians probably, okay, no offense, child, but anyway, so there are going to be people who say, okay, who are you? How do you have the nerve? Who are you to even, if this is even possible, who are you to be the one to talk about this? First of all, let's just talk about the first issue, if this is even possible. Because according to my research, right? Matthew 18 talks about this, 15 through 17. 1 Corinthians 6 talks about this. Galatians 6 talks about this. James 5 talks about this. Proverbs 31 talks about this. Deuteronomy 19 talks about this. 2 Corinthians 2 talks about this. So it's not like it's not there. All right, now we're going to get into the specifics, right? We're going to dig down into the scriptures, okay? Because this is all scripturally based. But I'm one of those people that grew up with the Bible being used as a weapon against me, right? A way of validating bad behavior by spiritual leaders, but condemning everybody else, right? That's how I grew up. And so I began to develop this mentality that, you know what? Why are you using this Bible against me when I can use the very same Bible against you? And I'd be right. Because I actually have scriptural evidence that I have not taken out of context that totally applies to what we are dealing with today when we think about the rise of religious narcissism and spiritual abuse. So I've been doing this research, you guys, because God gave me this idea probably like 3 years ago. And I came to this idea, I started to think of the idea because of what was going on between my father and I. And even at that time, 3 years ago, I didn't see that there was really a solution for the issues that arose in our relationship. And that's fine, right? Because things happen within relationships. So you can love a person, but realize that you have to have distance, right? But this is different, right? Because I'm specifically speaking to the things that have happened in the church as it relates to spiritual crimes, as it relates to violations that have been done against people in the church, believers, followers of Jesus, Christians. And so as I began to think about, even over the last 2 years, because my book came out 2 years ago yesterday, and I began to think about my growth, everything that has transpired, even the aftermath of exposing my father and coming out with my story. Now, you can I don't know. I don't know this to be true because I don't know what my father dealt with. But I would be willing to bet money that I received a lot more ridicule for speaking out about the abuse that was inflicted on me than my father was about the abuse that he inflicted on me. I received more ridicule. I'm willing to bet money that I received more ridicule for speaking out than my father did for doing what he did. And doing what I believe he continues to do, which is continues to be in a position of leadership in a church, and he doesn't qualify. In fact, there are so many scriptures in the Bible that validates, substantiates us as believers taking action in these types of situations. Now, I'm not someone who's I'm just harsh, and I just want people to be punished and all of that stuff. I don't want that. Which is why when God gave me this idea, I began to conceptualize it on three basic foundations, or three specific goals that people would be trying to reach who would be involved in Kingdom Court, which is what I called it, Kingdom Court trademark pending. These are the three things, okay? The three things is redemption, vindication, and justice. And since I began to share my story, even I realized that's what I was looking for. I don't want to reconcile my relationship with my father. I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I don't want to be a victim, right? But I do see there are a lot of issues in the church, right? And I say the church, but this is about every industry and arena where there is no oversight, where people have free reign to manipulate, control, abuse people. And I can't even say that this court system is just for people who identify as Christian or whatever. No, we're all children of God. We all are. I really just want to introduce this concept because I know it's going to be a little overwhelming for people to really grasp this, right? Because there's been these people that were in leadership that were more interested and more invested in deceiving us and disempowering us. And we are totally within our divine power to correct these issues. And so I realized that even when I was telling my story, that most people are looking for one of those three things or all of those three things. They want redemption, vindication, or justice. And this is not just for the people who have a grievance. This is even for the people who the grievance is against. Because we have a cancel culture, which means that once a person is condemned for the things that they have done wrong, there is really no way back in the good graces. There's no way of rehabilitating or corrective action or oversight or anything. There's nothing. Which is why these people are able to continuously do it, and they don't even fear the consequences because there aren't any. There aren't any. And I just believe that if we all stand together as believers and say that we're going to form a community, and it doesn't matter what church you come from, it doesn't matter what denomination you come from, and it doesn't even really matter about what religion you identify with, because we're all spiritual beings, and any type of violation against our spiritual being is a spiritual crime. And sometimes people just need to be heard. They need their feelings validated. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing that we should be able to do. We should be able to hear each other out. And even if we feel that maybe a person took it wrong, where is there even a venue for that? Where is there even a system for that? For a person to at least be able to bounce ideas off of you or share their story and get a different perspective. There's just nothing. And so I'm just crazy enough to believe, you guys, that when we establish this court system for believers, when we establish Kingdom Court, I truly believe that spiritual crimes will decrease. Relationships will be healed. I believe that churches will become safe again. It's unsafe to be in an environment where when wrongdoing happens, there are no consequences. There's nothing. And you won't even hear people out. Because as soon as I started talking about the things that I experienced, people were pushing me to forgive. Or they were just pushing me to go heal. Like, I am healing. This is what healing looks like. It looks like you sharing your pain, unburdening yourself with what you have been carrying and thinking that you were crazy about, thinking that you were the only one who dealt with it. That is part of the healing journey. How can you expect someone to reach a place of forgiveness when they haven't even been able to make sense of? And you can't even make sense of it until you say it, put it out there, and then make sense of it. And if all people were telling you to do when you were trying to speak out about your pain was to go heal, go get therapy, and then I had to tell people, I've been in therapy for 12 years. You can't shame me with my own story of abuse. I've been abused. That's what I'm telling you. There is something wrong with me. I've been abused. And there is something that happens in your spirit being. Okay? And how are you able to make sense of that if you don't even have a community, a supportive community that not only will hear you, but will act on your behalf when necessary? I'm just crazy enough to believe that we can do this. I've already begun doing the work, right? Look, I got my handy dandy, okay, clipboard. Got my handy dandy clipboard. And I have done a lot of research. I have begun to conceptualize this idea and put these things on paper so that I can come to you guys and we talk about this. I tell you what I've come up with and what the vision is that God has given me. And then we build this community and we make this happen. This is not something I can do by myself. This is something I'm asking you. I am begging you guys to really think about this. Like, really think about this. Think about what it would look like to have a court system for believers. Think about that. Think about everybody who has ever had a grievance that just wants to be heard so that they can then move to a place of forgiveness to where they can move on and heal. What if it's not even about we have to go punish whoever did wrong? What if it's not even about that? What if it's really just about validating? What if it's really about redeeming a person who has done wrong and who is saying, who comes to us and say, hey, I've done the work. I've done the healing work. I've done the soul work. I've done the shadow work, whatever work needs to happen. I've done this. So then that person can be redeemed. And what about when there is justice that needs to happen? What about when there is a situation where we need to act, where we say, hey, we can't support this organization, we can't support this person because these things have happened, and this person is even refusing, because that was what happened with my father's case. He's refusing to do the work that is required of him to be deemed a safe space for people to come and worship and to be under his leadership. We cannot continue to believe that as Christians we are disempowered. We cannot continue to believe that we aren't to judge, that we aren't to make judgments in situations. We totally are. And it's totally within our divine rights to do it. We're actually mandated to do it. We are not supposed to just sit back and let these things happen. And I'm just crazy enough to believe, y'all, that if I can just rally up, okay? Because I don't believe that I can do this by myself. I just believe that God gave me the idea, and my charge is to build a community that believes the same way, that believes what the scripture says. This video is just to plant the seed. What if we had a way of allowing people to be heard, allowing people to be redeemed, allowing people to be treated fairly? I'm crazy enough to think it could happen. And so I guess this video is to ask you, is this something that you can support? Is this something that you can see yourself being involved in? Is this something that you believe should be established? I know a lot of us have never really started anything, right? We've never started a program, or we've never started an organization. We've never started a business. We've never started something that we had to take from the ground, you know, and build until it becomes something, right? Think about whenever everybody's probably seen a house being built, right? Like maybe one time you come around and all the trees are cleared, right? And then you come around again and there's markings on the grass, and you come around again and you might see like a power pole established now. You'll see like flags here because the water is going to be here and the sewer is going to be here and all of that stuff. And so you see them starting to mark the ground, but they haven't even started to build yet. Like all this stuff is just being done on the ground and underneath the surface. They're just building the infrastructure. And then the next time you come around, it's been cleared out, like it's been leveled or something, or all the grass is gone in the area where the house is actually going to be built. So there's dirt there now. And then you come back again, and now there's a foundation. And then you can see just like the basic frame of how it's going to be. And then the next time you come, there's wood up. And you can't really tell where the rooms are going to be, or what's going to be the bathroom, or what's going to be the kitchen, or whatever. But you can get you start to conceptualize, you're starting to get the basic shape here, right? You come back like a couple weeks later, y'all, they be throwing up houses like so fast these days. I'm a little bit nervous as to like how they actually going to hold up, okay? Because it seems like they just be popping them houses out like that. But the basic theory is there, right? Is that you have to think about, before you can get to a house, before you can get to a structure that is built, you have to do the groundwork. You have to even go underneath the surface and establish the infrastructure and the systems that will flow through the house once it's built. That's what we're doing right now, okay? We are digging into the surface and we are putting in the pipes. We are laying not only the foundation, but the infrastructure in which this is going to be built, which is what is going to sustain it. This is what's going to make it solid. This is what it's going to take for this system to meet our needs. We know we're going to need water. We know we're going to need power. Those things have to be established before we can even put the foundation down. Does that make sense? And so when I think about what we are doing here, I've already begun to lay the pipes, right? That's what this is. What this clipboard is. This is the pipe work that's been done. And God told me to lay the foundation. So we have a basic shape of how this is going to be built, okay? Now, I need some construction workers. I need okay, listen, since we're using that analogy and all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, I need some contractors here. I really need you all to work in your area of expertise, work in your gifting, and work in your calling and your purpose to build out Kingdom Court, to build this system in which Christians, believers, followers of Jesus can receive redemption, vindication, and justice. And I promise you, you have something to add. You have something. You just need to figure out what it is. And you need to roll up your sleeves and you need to get to work. This is real work, y'all. This is real change. And you can't tell me for 1 minute that this isn't going to create change. Because if it works in a secular system, then how much more will it work with God actually backing you? Okay? Our system is going to work much better than the secular system, than the world system. Why not? Because we are actually concerned about redemption. We're actually concerned about validating. We're actually concerned about justice. And everything that we do is with love. Because love does this. Love chases. Love does this. Love calls out wrongdoings when wrongdoings are done. It's not loving to allow a person to continue to abuse you and you never say anything. One of the greatest gifts that I gave my father was telling and exposing him while he's still alive. And I know that a lot of you are not going to understand that. And he may not even understand that. But that is the greatest gift that I have given him, is to express his wrongdoing and allow him, while he still has breath in his body, to make it right. Now he has chosen not to, which is his choice. But that was the greatest gift that I could have given him, y'all. That is one of my greatest acts of love towards my father. Look it up in the Bible if you don't believe me. It's all there. The exact Bible that has been used to beat people down. And they looked in that very same Bible and actually took the word into context and used their discernment to make sense of what God was saying, or what the message that God was trying to convey through the people who wrote the Bible. Then you would understand. Everything that I'm saying is biblical. And I'm just crazy enough to believe that we can do this. And I just want to know, are y'all crazy too? Okay, listen. Are y'all crazy too? Listen, I need some crazy folks on my team, okay, honey? Like, I need somebody who's crazy like me. Crazy as in, I know, God, that this idea, that's the right kind of crazy, y'all. I really do want this organization to be just for daughters. And, you know, that's just how I feel about it. If that resonates with you, then make sure that you reach out to me. Please send me an inbox or anything. Like, let's connect, let's change contact information, and just know that you are welcome to be a part of this organization. I need your help. Don't think that I don't need you. Don't think that you don't have anything to add. This is your area. This is all of our area. We all need to be involved in this. And at some point, I'm gonna send y'all out a jury summons. Okay, y'all gonna have jury duty. I don't know my fan. Okay, y'all gonna have jury duty. Do you hear me? I'm serious. I'm totally serious. Okay. I'll see y'all later, and let me know if this resonates with you. Answer the questions that I had, get in my inbox, in the comments, wherever you want to reach out, and just let me know if this resonates with you, if you want to be a part of this, if you can see this happening, if God gave you the same vision. Let me know. I want to know if other people are seeing what I have seen or what God is showing me. I want to know that too, because I just thought about that. Like, that's deep. That's really important. I don't think that it's in the Bible, so I don't think that I've been the only one who thought about this. I don't think that, but I just know that I'm acting on it. And if God gave you the idea too, then maybe this is even more confirmation that you need to be part of this community. Okay, so I love you guys, and I will see y'all later. Okay.